Bastards with heroes rise, the dying world still but it skies. Crushing head with power we fight, strength that breaks unite in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn, the story told in this love of imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold, peace in my soul, soul and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore, roll the future, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn, together in this place where we belong. Joining spells, casting dreams until the dawn, leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright, venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the brawn, the story's told in this realm of imagination mode. With every stroke, the vengeance unfold, peace of my soul, oh soul. Where the brawn meets the brawn, the story's told in this realm of imagination mode. With every stroke, the vengeance might fall, peace of my soul, oh soul.
Yes, 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 yes! We are here! Welcome one, welcome all to Minis-N-Muscles. The only place you need to be on a Friday and the place where the brawn meets the brush. It's a place and a hangout for us geeks, us hobbyists, people that love absolutely anything from the geek genre, from Pokemon playing cards to Warhammer to Dungeons and Dragons to manga, TV shows, whatever it is, I don't really care as long as it's geeky. Happy Friday, people. How are we? Are we all well? Are you keeping okay? Welcome JPC in the chat. I can see you're there already. How are you, sir? Racing home early on a Friday just to join us live? That is commitment. So when do we get to the size of the channel where, we've got hundreds of thousands of followers and we've released the little mini Steve miniature that I've got over there. You, JPC, will be the first to get one, I am sure. I am positive. But welcome anyway, guys, girls, peoples. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Friday. It is Minis-N-Muscles. We are here. We're going to talk a lot of geeky stuff and we're going to paint some miniatures as we do always. So please, please, please. Make sure you've got some nice clean water and make sure you've got your wet palette ready. I'll actually unbox mine. I'll take the lid off of it. So my wet palette is ready. I'll chuck that down there. I'll keep the lid just off to the side just in case I need it. But make sure you get your paints ready because it would be wonderful if you painted along with us. And remember, if you are painting along with us and you want to share that kind of stuff, stick it in the Discord. Stick it in the Discord. So just take your miniature photos, take photos of them, drop them in the Discord channel, into the I think it's in the miniatures channel, in the Discord. And you can sit there and stick your minis in, and we can all have a good share of them, thumbs them up, and give you some confidence boosting support. JPC saying, I will paint Mini Steve. Not well, probably be Mini Cross-Eyed Steve. Mate, I am sure 100% you will be able to paint Mini Steve absolutely perfectly. So when I do release and start, well, I'd have to print off a load and then start to ship them out to people. When that happens, JPC, you shall be number one on the list. I shall remember. But that doesn't mean anyone else can't get them if you are interested in a Mini Steve miniature to paint. But talking of painting, let's crack on with tonight's show. So let's just recap our diorama. Our Dungeons and Dragons diorama was completed last week. So if I can put it here, look, and we can do a top-down picture. Oh, we might need to zoom out a little bit though. Whoop. There we go. So there's our top-down view. Ignore the Sisters of Battle at the back there. there's our top-down view of our D&D adventure. Oh no, you can't see what I can see there. Sorry, guys. So let's start up this side. We've got our barbarian, our female barbarian, orc, half orc. There she is there. We've got our rogue female. We've got our dwarven cleric. We've got our dodgy dealer selling wares. And then he's tricking them because obviously there's a mimic as posing as a tent. So we do have that. Let's see if we can get a bit of a better cam angle so you can see it all. Oh, I can never work out the backwardsness of the camera. There you go. So there is the scene. We've got our lovely road. We've got a little bit of water. Yes, I know it looks really blue, but you know, it's the first time of me working with resin. So I just need to mix up different colours prior to that to drop in. But that's absolutely fine. I think it still looks cool. Let's take another look on the front. Let's just switch over here and go for a front view so you can see what it looks like this way. We've got the fencing, we've got the grass. There is a little bug that I found and he's still glued on there, so that we've got a bug glued in there as well. So there you go. It looks pretty cool. There you go. Bring it in a little bit closer. It's a pretty cool diorama. Didn't take too long to build. So the base was built out of, look, if I do that, the base was built out of expanding foam. So really easy to do. Just squirt a load onto some cardboard and then just cut it into the shape you want. Really, really simple. That's all I did here. Dead simple. Then I've got, I painted the mud track brown, I painted the grassy areas green, and then I just got some flock, and then I glued the flock on with PVA, and then resealed it with PVA across the top. And with the track, I started off using pebbles, but they just looked way too disproportionate and out of size, because in the D&D world, a pebble is like a huge rock, a huge boulder. So rather than having those as a sort of pathway, I then went for Army Painter. Have got, I think it's called Battlefield. I think it's called Battlefield. I'm just trying to grab it now, see if I can read it off. But it's a little sort of gravel textured effect. You just need PVA. PVA the base. Yeah, it's called Brown Battleground. So this is the one that I used. There you go. We used that for the pathway. Let's hold it up a bit higher. And then we used for the fencing, we used coffee stirrer sticks from a local coffee store, shall we say. So that is all it is, plus a couple of miniatures. Painted it all up. It looks really cool. So first time I've really sort of explored doing dioramas and things like that. So I'm actually very happy with that. So let's place him to one side. He can go into the pile of finished and completed things. We can move that out the way for a moment. So let's put that up there. Right, so what are we painting this week, guys? Well, last week we sort of finished off the diorama about midway. And I just picked up some Sisters of Battle figures that I had lying next to me. So I think we'll sort of carry on with those, and we'll try and finish a few of these off to get them done. At least two. I don't, because I have got double up, so I don't want to have anything repeating. So I thought, well, if we just do one Dialogus and one Hospitaller, then we'll get those finished, and we'll do those on the channel. The others I'll do in my spare time. What else do we want to talk about? Well, as usual, we have a concurrent conversation in the background. And this week, what is this week's concurrent conversation, I hear you ask? Well, I shall tell you. I've forgotten what it is. Oh, that's right. This week's topic is sort of retro gaming nostalgia kind of feel. The reason why, there is a reason behind the madness, is that I've recently bought an original NES. Hi Adrian, how are you? Just seen you pop up. JPC's saying, I tried a diorama once, did not enjoy static grass. Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit difficult, but you can buy, rather than just having this sort of grass like this, where you just have to throw it all on, you can buy grass patches which look like these. So you can buy those. So you can sort of put these on first and then sprinkle the sort of standard flock amongst it, and it looks a little better because you get the sort of the depth of the different blades of grass. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, this week's continuous talk throughout the show. So join in, chat in as always. The chat is going to be about retro gaming, a nostalgia sort of reason, because I bought myself a Nintendo Entertainment System. Yes, you heard me right. In 2025, I bought myself something that was released in about 1985, I think, off the top of my head. So, I bought myself a console that is 40 years old, and I haven't plugged it in and sorted it all out yet, but I am going to. And it just sort of inspired me just to talk about retro gaming as a whole and collecting. So that's going to be our general conversation. So if you've got some favourite retro games, stick them in. If you're collecting something yourself, just put it in the chat. Adrian's saying flock. Yes, flock. Did I say something else? Did I say fleck or something? I don't know. But that's our chat, general chat. We have our muscle moment. We wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't talk a little bit about fitness. This week we're going to talk about, let's just find it. Oh, traditional training versus new training as such. So sort of the old school vibes versus the new kind of methods, and what we can explore when we're training. And we're going to cram in another segment. So it's going to be a very short segment, a bit like our muscle moment, and it's going to be called Hobby Horrors. So Hobby Horrors, and the idea of this segment in the show is just to chat about things that have gone completely wrong. So JPC's saying there he tried a diorama once and did not enjoy static grass. So maybe JPC can talk to us in the Hobby Horrors moment all about his static grass moment and what went wrong. I'll share a couple of things that went wrong with me, and every week we'll sort of change the it'll be just random things that have gone wrong. It could be something I've seen on the internet, it could be something that's happened to me this week, it just could be anything to do with something that's gone wrong in your hobby world. It could be painting, could be collecting, whatever that is. All right, so we'll just cover that in our Hobby Horrors. And that is today's show. All right, so that's the kind of breakdown of what we'll go through today. In the chat, JPC is saying 3 words: original Metal Gear Solid. Nice. That, as in the top-down Metal Gear Solid, not the sort of first-person kind of view. The top-down Metal Gear Solid. Woo! Yes. Ninja hard. And actually, that's the topic we'll kind of cover actually when we're talking about retro gaming as a whole. So let's crack on then. Let's go into our top-down view. Is that? Might need to get a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, so let's crack on with our Hospitaller. Here she is here. So let's crack on with her. Let's get some paintbrushes ready. Obviously, we're going to have to just dip in there, have a little lick of the paintbrush, because that's the law. Last week, we did add a bit of detail onto her. So the fleur-de-lis on the front, we started putting those in, and on the busted up Battle Sister on the floor, we did the same, including some of the dots, the silver dots that you can just about make out on her shoulder and her gloves. So we put those little studs in as well. This week it's sort of going to be a little bit more detail. So on this one there's not a huge amount left really, but we'll probably try and tidy up the pages on the book here, maybe get some lettering or some scribbles down. We've got the scripture that sort of runs, that's held by these doves, and so we're going to try and put a little bit on that and put a bit more colour into those as well, because you can sort of see the black through it. I'm just having a look around. Got a bit of the base, so we'll probably finish the base off as well. That needs a bit of a tidy, so we'll do that. And I think that will probably be about it for this model. Oh, we've got to finish her face as well. To be fair, we do have to finish her face. Let's just turn the model that way. Yeah, we need to finish off the eyes on that so we can use our method that we learnt in the week video just gone. Moa Man has said hello. Hello, Moa Man. How are you? Welcome to the channel. I'm not sure if you're new. I don't recognise your name, but welcome. Have you been mowing grass this week, Moa Man? I'm hoping that you've got one of these giant sit-on lawnmowers. That's what I'm hoping for. But welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, this is the model we'll crack on with first. And into the retro gaming conversation. Let's have a swig of tea whilst I do that. So, here question for you. Why is retro gaming still so bloody awesome? Great question. Well, it's so awesome, as I said earlier, it inspired me to buy an NES this week. So, I really thought that I needed one in my life. I wanted to have a bit of nostalgia back. And I thought, right, okay, I'm going to buy myself an NES. And I did so. So it's on its way. I bought it second-hand, so it's not brand new. But I bought it second-hand. And it looks very nice. So hopefully it will arrive in the next couple of days. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Let's just get some paint onto the wet palette. Wet palette's a little bit too wet this week. I did that last week as well. Silly Steve. I will be donning the crazy glasses as we know them on this channel. Just because I can't see for heck. So we're just going to use these so I can zoom in a little bit. All I'm doing now is just tidying up the edge of this book actually. Just because there were some little parts on the edge here that were showing where I'd clipped it out. So what I usually do, my usual tactic, is to undercoat in black, because I prefer undercoating in black, and I do that to the entire model whilst it's still on the sprue as soon as I get it out the box. But that does mean when you're putting the model together, you're going to have you're going to have little areas where you've cut the pieces off of the sprue. So you just have to go back and tidy them. It's not a big deal. It's not massive. You just have to be aware that you've got to do it. But yeah, we're talking about retro gaming. So yeah, I really wanted to play some of the old games that I played. And yes, I do have a Raspberry Pi. And yes, I can just load them up on that. But it's just not the same feeling. It's not the same controller. It's not the same feeling. And I really thought, right, why not? Why not? Why shouldn't I? So I grabbed one off of a second-hand type reselling place, and it's on its way. So what makes them so cool though, these old games, is I was just saying then, it's not like it's just not the same vibe. It's not the same feel. So actually, what I miss is the charm of the pixels and all the crappy soundtracks, which are actually intoxifying. Yeah. So JPC is saying NES Super Dodgeball. Oh man. Yeah. So you had different titles in the US as well to what we got here in the UK. I remember my dad brought me back a US version of Double Dribble. So he brought it back from the US. He didn't realise he wasn't a gamer that it was NTSC and it wouldn't work on a PAL NES. So they're different formats. And I was absolutely gutted with that. So gutted. I really wanted to play that game too. But it was okay. Maybe this time round with the second ownership of a NES, I will get myself a UK version of Double Dribble. Maybe that's what I'll have to do. But I just love the old school soundtrack. That sort of 8-bit soundtrack that you just cannot get out of your head once you listen to it, right? Does everyone remember what I'm talking about? You know them old catchy like Mario tunes or Sonic tunes, you know. Like if you said that to anybody, everyone knows it. It's absolutely mesmerising when you get in game. Like, you know, remember when you got to Super Mario, playing Super Mario, and you're in Bowser's Castle, and you got that. Like, it's just genius. Like, whoever thought of these little tracks? They're so simple, but they're so effective for the game, and that's one thing that I kind of miss with modern games. They don't have that charm. Maybe I'm just being very nostalgic, but you know, there's something about a retro game that modern games just can't replicate that feel, or very rarely. I did play a game. Oh God. I played a game recently. What's the name of it? Escapists 2. Escapist 2 on the PlayStation 5. That has a very retro gamey feel. So if you've never played Escapist 2, take a look. The music that you get when you build yourself a little raft is absolutely brilliant. So you will love it. If you love like that retro kind of feel, man, it's all over that all day. What we're saying in chat, Adrian is saying Wire Graphics Elite on the BBC. Oh, the old BBC computers. God, yeah, Adrian, you're really pushing it back. So on the old BBC computers, do you remember, Adrian, Granny's Garden? Do you remember that? So for those that you don't know, right, the BBC created some old computers, right, and they were pretty pants, but they had their old floppy drive, 5.5-inch floppy drive, or 5-inch or whatever it is, floppy drive computers, and they were in all schools across the UK. Like, someone in the BBC had a good old backhander, and one of the games I remember that was on the school BBC computer was Granny's Garden. And it was like a story, so a narrative, almost like an RPG, right? You're walking down this path. You can go left or you can go right. Which way do you go? You know, it was very much like that. Choose one, choose the other. And that game I remember playing, or trying to sneak on to play all the time at school. And it was bloody brilliant. I really enjoyed it, especially throwing the apple on the snake on the stairs to get upstairs in Granny's house. Yeah, very dodgy. I didn't play Wire Graphics Elite though. Try to find Blades of Steel. Ah, yes, Blades of Steel. I have found that because I did have it as a kid. That's the ice hockey game, and it's absolutely mega. I've found someone with an old school copy, so I am going to try to purchase it. I was going to try and wait until my actual NES arrives before I go crazy and collecting things. But Blades of Steel is another one I want to play. Because I had it as a kid. The couple of games I have got coming with it are Super Mario 3, which is a great game. I did buy Double Dragon, the original Double Dragon, that is. I've got Mega Man 2. I want to say Mega Man 2 and Donkey Kong. What else? Donkey Kong. There is a couple of others. Mario 1 and Duck Hunt, which was that dual cartridge that they gave out at the time. And then there was another game, but I can't for the life of me remember what the bloody hell it was called. Can't have been that good, right, if I can't remember it. Just a concentration piece here as I try to do the bookmark in her book, just the edge of it. There we go, lovely. Remember, on these pieces like this, it's very important that you have just the right consistency of paint. If you don't have the right consistency of paint, it will never run smooth, and you'll end up overshooting everything, and it'll end up being a disaster. But there you go, there's our little bookmark. Oh, we need to do a bit right down the back. Do you see that bit down the back? Let's see if we can get that. What's Adrian saying? We played Snake on the BBCB long before it came out as a phone game. Yeah. It wasn't called Snake though, was it? I don't think it was called... I think it was called something else. I can't remember what it was called though. Oh, is Mower Man gone already? Is he still here? Mower Man, how's your mowing going? There we go. Right, that's just tidied that. Alrighty. Yeah, so I like that 8-bit sort of or 16-bit soundtracks, and I like the quirky graphics. Although, right, help me out here, guys. There's a thing that you plug into the back of your NES that goes into your TV to change it from 240 resolution to 480i. Should I get that upgrader for my NES? I'm tempted. So yeah, I also like about old games is the simplicity. So like all these new games are really, really good, right? I'm not knocking them because they are bloody brilliant, but they're so sodding complicated, right? They're really complicated. I'll do a bit of cheating here for this book. I'm just going to see if I can do some very small squiggles with this pen. So this is a, just in case you ever have these, this is a Pit Artist pen fine liner. Okay, so if you ever need one of these pens, you can try and get one yourself. Because I'm not very good with doing these long, so even that, I'm just too heavy-handed. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, I think that's too thick for me. I need a finer brush. So let's just cover that up because that's a bit of a mistake, that. Oh no, it was a bit wet. Oh dear, that kind of messed that up, didn't it? Yeah, so with own retro games, I love that simplicity. You know, there's not too much going on. It's pretty basic. You go from A to B, collect this, do that. I think the most complicated games ever got was things like Link or Zelda, right? Where you had, it was more RPG style, and you had, you know, it was quite difficult to find stuff. If you were a kid, that is. So yeah, so I found that quite difficult, but I still love it. There was no sort of microtransactions in games, you know, like nowadays. If you go onto a game, name any modern game, I'd say pretty much it's got to be about 98% of modern games, they've all got microtransactions in, right? So to get somewhere, you have to buy X, and if you don't buy X, you can still play the game, right? But you're underpowered, or you're not going to find the advantages that other players get. Everything has got microtransactions, and I bloody hate that. It's so infuriating. So old games don't have microtransactions, so it gets a big thumbs up from me just on that principle. So, you know, you don't get updates as well, so you know, some days you might go, oh, I'll just hop on play a game, and you go to hop on and you've got like a, you know, a 20 meg or a 200 meg in some cases download for an update. Right, there was no updates. You didn't need that. The game was great, even if it was faulty and glitchy. The game was great as it was. There was no expectations and bitching around, oh, well, this is blah, 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 and it doesn't work like this. But because games, I guess, have got so complicated now, they have to get updates, whereas with simple games, you don't really need to. They're pretty much done from day dot. So that's kind of part of the charm, I think, of old school games. They were very cool. Yeah, and do you also find, here's a question for the chat, do you also find with older games that when you pick them up, the game itself, or as in the cartridge, or if you pick up the console or the controller, they seem more not tangible, but they seem more robust. Everything just felt a better quality. I don't know, again, maybe I'm just romanticising about it, but it just felt better quality. Even like stupid as this sounds, the quality of the plastic that they used just felt better. So yeah, but that was kind of what drew me back in, and I thought, right, and a conversation with my cousins as well, and I thought, right, that's it, I'm doing it. So I did. So hopefully that'll be here soon. Well, I think Moa Man must have left. Well, it was very nice for him to join us very shortly and briefly. Much love to you, Moa Man. I did notice we got up to 113 subscribers the other day, and then we lost a subscriber, so we went back down to 112. Gutted. So hopefully we'll be able to pick up more subscribers as we go. And I'm sure we shall. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just adding an extra layer onto this scripture paper that's sort of floating behind the doves on the Hospitaller. Just because right now there's a lot of black coming through, and I guess that's fine for some shadowing, but I quite like a solid colour look. That's kind of my paint style. Like, I think it was Optimus D the other day asking, oh, do you do grimdark style painting? And I have, but I do like a clean, fresh look paint. That's kind of my jam. So when I'm painting models, that's kind of the look I go for. That kind of clean, fresh look. So not battle worn as such, but more fresh out of training look. So yeah, that's kind of the style I go for. I just think it looks nice. Yeah. So yeah, my older. What's Adrian saying here in chat? More robust ? There are a few joystick busting PvP computer games. Yeah, true. Yeah, there was, but when you picked them up, Adrian, did you not think that, like, if you picked it up, it felt like it felt really strong and tough. Like, if I pick up my PS5, it feels like it's going to break. If I pick up a NES, it doesn't feel like it's going to break at all. It feels robust. So yeah, that's kind of how I felt with a lot of retro games and consoles. But anyway, next part of the conversation for retro gaming. What about, has anyone considered the element of the gaming which makes them challenging? Retro games are far more challenging than, I'd say, 99% of modern day games, right? So I did have my Raspberry Pi out not so long ago with my cousins, and we were smashing out some of the old games. And they are so hard and so unforgiving. It's unreal. They really do, like, hammer you. You know, most games you start with like 3 lives, and then you have to sort of earn more in various different ways, or finding more lives, or whatever it is. But they're so hard. They really do make you work to get anywhere. And then, you know, let's not forget, if you die, that's it. There ain't no continue. You're back to level 1, mate. Back to your 3 lives, back to level 1. You know, and then, you know, you could have had 20 lives 2 seconds ago, but you used them all trying to get across this one bloody jump, and you couldn't make it, and you used all of your 20 lives. And that's it. Gone. 20 lives, goodbye. So the challenge rating of these old school games was far, far, far more difficult. And I do like them for that. I do think that's quite a cool factor about old games. JPC is saying, I still have my Wii U hooked up so I can play the old NES and SNES games. So I've got a Switch, Switch Lite, and I did pay for the membership. So it's like a yearly membership if you've got a Switch or a Wii U or whatever. And you can get the access to the old NES and SNES games and Game Boy games as well. And it's pretty cool. They just don't have all of them, or necessarily all the ones you would want. and you have to pay a yearly fee. So it's about 15 quid, I think. Not that that's expensive, that's pretty cheap, but I just didn't want to continue to pay for that kind of thing on a yearly basis. And they didn't quite have all the titles I wanted, so, you know, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to have to just bite the bullet here. Let's just go back to old school. So that's what I did. I went old school. Right, okay, so we're just checking out this model right now, because I've just sort of added a little bit here, a little bit there, just in terms of layers, but she's not really that far from finished. I'm just trying to see what else there is to add on here. There is some blood that I'm going to put on the battle sister that's on the floor here. So I do have some blood, I'm going to stick that on her. She's going to get that. I do need to do the eyes on that one and this lady here. Do I need to tidy up that? Possibly. Let's have a look through the glasses, shall we? Let's get some skin colour prepped. I can't remember what skin colour I used for this lady, actually. I think it's probably Kislev flesh. I think, you know, no saves, brutal level designs, Ghosts and Goblins, Battletoads. These were games that, like, people still to this day can't finish because they're so inconceivably difficult. So they were super tough back then. But I kind of like that. That kind of quirky toughness I quite like. And even if you failed and never managed to, you know, beat the game, it was like, oh, okay, it's all right. Whereas now you can finish games within, you know, a couple of hours and you're through the entire game. Apart from one or two, there is, obviously. So my games to revisit, that's what I wanted to talk about next. If you were to have your own NES console, what games would you revisit? Whilst we paint the face of this sister. So, the games that I'm going to revisit, I've spoken a couple of them already. Mario 3. I have got Mario 1 in the box, and that brings back nightmares of playing that. And I only found out the other day, right, that my mum, my cheeky mother, right, back in the day, I would be at school, and she said she used to get the NES, turn it on, and practice before I got home. So when I got home, she knew how to complete levels, and she was better than me at, like, Mario Kart or something, or whatever it was. Absolute cheat. I didn't realise that till this day. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. What was I saying? But yeah, Mario 1 is in the box, which my mum helped me complete, right? So thanks, Mum. But she never told me that she practiced whilst I was at school. But Mario 3 is the one I want to go back to, because I think I finished Mario 1, but I didn't finish Mario 3. So I have got that coming with the NES, so I am going to go back and revisit that. It's a real classic, right? Because if you look at the evolution of games and how they learnt to code, originally, like in Mario 1, it was really blocky and blotchy. And then all of a sudden, in Mario 3, you had this character that you could almost see. You could see his little moustache and you could see his eyes on Mario. Whereas before, it's just like a blur almost. They'd started to really, by this point anyway, they'd started to really nail down getting the coding and the graphics right for games. So for me, that was kind of like a turnaround graphically for the NES. And for that generation of gaming, I think, in general. Alright, just finishing off this little lady's face. Well, applying some colour to it anyway, so it's not white. So what we had there is I just painted her hair and run over the edge. There we go. Right, that looks good. Okay, cool. So I think we're in a good position here to do the eyes. Adrian is saying Rayman. Oh, that was a great game. That was a PlayStation 1 release. Was it a PlayStation 1 release? Rayman? Or was it out before then? Ooh, I don't know. Great question. I'm not sure I know the answer. But I'm pretty sure it's a PlayStation 1 release. Rayman. Oh, I'm going to have to Google that now. What console was Rayman released on? Question mark. Oh, it was on the Atari Jaguar. Crikey. Okay, so there you go. There's a bit of factual stuff for us, facts for us. So Rayman was first released on the Atari Jaguar on 1st of September 1995. Followed shortly by versions on the PlayStation, the Sega Saturn and PC. So yeah, so that's quite a good little fact. But Rayman was a great game. I thought that was pretty cool. Nice and colourful, nice and bright. Great platformer. I enjoyed that one a lot. Got black there, cool. What's JPC saying? JPC is saying Mario 2 was my favourite until Super Mario World. No, JPC, really? Did you know? Here's a fact about Mario 2. Mario 2 was never meant to be Mario 2. It was actually a completely different game. And all the creators of Mario did, because they were stalling, well, they were lagging behind in the development of the actual Mario 2 game. So they bought the rights off that company and they just put Mario, Luigi, Peach into the game so you could play them. It was never meant to be a Mario game ever. So you can find really weird videos of the original game. So take a look for that. You love playing as Toad, yeah. Toad was because you had the 4 characters. That's right. So part of that game as well, there's a giveaway, was the plants used to pick up, and they were like onions or something you used to pick up out of the ground, right? Do you remember? That was like never in Mario. It never came back to Mario, but yeah. Anyway, there's a fun fact for you. Right, let's get back on with painting this little lady. Oh, I didn't put the colour out for the eyes. So we're doing eyes now, aren't we? So we're doing the eyes on the 2 of our ladies here. So what we need to do is put some of this Rathbone in. So remember, I use this Rathbone colour for the whites of the eyes. It's not white, but I don't like white for the whites of the eyes, because your actual eyes aren't white, are they? But yeah, Mario 2. Yeah, crazy. So again, if we go back to our video that we did about eyes, I'm just going to go over the edges here. It doesn't matter. We can fix that. If we do go over the edge, we can fix that with different colours at some point. Don't worry. Right, so there's the white for that lady, and let's do the white for this lady. There we go. She's actually got a really good pupil, this model. This one's got a really good, like, poppy out, standout eye. There we go. Let's just see if I can wick away a little bit of that. So if you lose too much of the detail, you can't see where to place the dot, the black dot in the middle of your eye. So I lose where I'm doing that. So but that's okay. If we can just zoom in a little bit. There we go. Should be okay still. There we are. You can see I've just splodged over a bit, but that's fine. Yeah, so Super Mario 3. That's the one I want to do. Iconic for me because it was the first time you saw Mario with things like a tail, and he could fly and things like that. So that was super cool. So I am going to do that one. Legend of Zelda is the next one. Who played the Zelda games? Shout out to those who played Zelda. So who played Zelda? Anyone out there play Zelda? There must be some people. Just concentrating right now. Doing these little eyes. Just a bit too much on that one. That's okay, we can tidy that up, that's good. Happy with that. Yeah, who played Zelda? Yeah, JPC did a ton on Super Nintendo. Yes, I have to say, on the NES, I didn't have Zelda. I didn't have it on the NES, I had it on the SNES, so the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom. So I had it on that console. So I will be going back to play the original Zelda game on the NES. That's one I want to get into. Adrian's saying, I played Donkey Kong on the little handheld devices when I was in school. So here's one for you guys, right? Do you remember, or does anyone remember that's in the chat or watching? Does anyone remember the Game Watches? Not the little handheld consoles, but the games that were on a watch. So there was Super Mario 3, WrestleMania, which I had. There was Super Mario, there was Donkey Kong, and a Double Dragon was one. I really wanted that, never got it. But they were on a watch, and you could play it in school. So you could wear your watch, and you could be playing. And the wrestling game was so hard, man. It was so hard. Like, I would say, close to impossible. And then me and my buddies used to swap, because a buddy of mine had he had the Super Mario 3 watch, which I thought was very, very cool. Don't know about these eyes. No, it's not right. It's not right. That lady's not right. I'm going to have to do her again. Let's just tidy that one up. It's not too bad, this one. So sometimes when you're doing these eyes, because they're so small, right? It is really hard to get it just right so it looks good. I'm not sure about her left eye is good as I look at it, and her left eye is not good, her right eye is good. Not sure. Okay, she might be alright like that actually. But this one, yeah, her eye is just not particularly great. Don't know if you guys can see that, but one is just a bit too big. This one over here looks just a little bit too catty, because it's too much of the line. In my technique in my video I say just draw a line straight down and then sort of shape around it. If you get the line a little, if you do a long line in it, it's fine because you can shape around it, but if you don't shape enough it looks a bit too cat-like. So just beware of that. Double Dragon 2, far better than 1. Oh, man, yeah. I have bought Double Dragon 1 because I had that. So I had Double Dragon 1 and my cousins had Double Dragon 2. And we obviously used to swap and play games. And, yeah, absolutely epic. Yeah, Double Dragon in the arcade was great. That was, I think that was like referring to Adrian saying about busting joysticks as you're playing, It was really good gaming. Really good. Yeah, I enjoyed those games immensely. Just mixing up a little bit more that skin tone just so I can see if I can close that eye a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna leave that as it is. I'm gonna leave it as it is for now. Right, that's that one in a base. So she's like basic done, right? She's not detailed. She's not super cool, but the basics are all finished on her, right? So we can add detail later. Let's just hop over to this Dialogus. She is... Oh, sorry. Out of camera shot here. She is sort of partially done, but she needs a lot of tidying. I just literally slapped some colours on her the other day, so she needs tidying up, this lady. To be fair, I've kind of forgotten what the artwork I'm looking for, because I don't copy... Sorry, I don't do my own art with these ones. I do copy the box art, because the army that I'm painting is the box art, basically. So I shall need to bring up the Dialogus. Dialogus. Here we go. Images. Ah, lovely. There we are. Yeah, another game to revisit, and I forgot how bloody hard it was. Contra. Does anyone that's online now remember playing Contra? Right, I played Contra 2 the other day. Got my absolute arse handed to me. Jesus, I got whipped. Absolutely whipped all over the place. It was so difficult. Like, unbelievably difficult. Couldn't believe how hard it was. Did I enjoy it though? Yes. But crikey, was it hard. I mean, seriously hard. Didn't enjoy getting an absolute thrashing, that's for sure. But it was still a fun game to play. And it was 2-player as well. I did play Contra 2. I can't remember if Contra 1 was 2-player. But both sort of that side-scrolling shooting game, where the shooting is really limited. You know, you're kind of proper using the D-pad to sort of move up, down, and kind of diagonally. And then the sort of kill box is for the enemy is actually quite wide because the shooting ability is so sort of restrictive in the game. But it's a fun game nonetheless, so I'm gonna revisit that. I don't have a copy of it yet, but at some point I will get my hands on one, and I will play that and see how that goes. So I think it's worth it. And I'll probably do like another video. Actually, I did do the Space Marine 2 play test live. I might well do a NES play test live. Do you guys want to see that? Would that be interesting to see? You know, chatting about the old NES and the old school games. If that would be interesting, I'll happily do a video on it. Not a problem. Just doing the little what's it called? The little crikey. Here goes my words. The things that you stick on, these things here, you know what I mean. Those things that are flapping down. Just doing the sort of wax seal part of it. Right, I just need to go in the back of here and colour that book. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but we'll give it a go. Mega Man 2 is another game that I am going to revisit. I have got that coming with the NES, so I do have that, which is cool. So I will be revisiting that one, and that'll be a good laugh. And that game is actually all nicely boxed as well. It looked really good condition, so I'm looking forward to that coming. It's a bit tricky this here because the back of this book that I'm painting is really far down in comparison to the rest, so it's actually very hard to paint effectively, I'd say. Anyway, It's really in the tight little spaces. Really far down as well. So what I'm going to have to do is, it's going to look messy and I'm going to have to tidy it up. It just means double painting. Boo. But I don't see many other choices here. So it's very difficult to get all the edges done and right in those little gaps. Even with the geek glasses on, it's very difficult. What we're saying in chat, Purity Seals, that's the one, Adrian, well done. You are my man for remembering the words for me. Thank you, Adrian. What would I do without you, sir? Well, probably just forget, full stop. But yeah, Purity Seals, that's the word I was looking for. Again here, where it's quite tight, I have gone over the edges, you'll see. Because I'm not perfect, I'm not a pro painter. But that's okay, we can go back and tidy. As I said, not my favourite thing to have to do. I will try to avoid going back if I can. But sometimes we make mistakes, right? Oh God. And it's okay to make mistakes. There we go. What else we got? Talked about Mega Man 2. So that was sort of the pixel perfect platformer. So that was another very cool game that I'm very much looking forward to arriving. That'll be a lot of fun. And a lot of good memories brought back on that one as well. Let's just get the edge here. Edge of the book. Edge of the book this side. So we're going to have to put in a bit of this bronzy gold colour back into it. But that's fine. Right, now to the back again. And it's this bloody bit right in here. It's absolute shit. Oh, sorry YouTube, don't cancel me. Because it feels like you've got to do that, is it called stippling? Where you sort of have to dab your brush, but I hate doing that because it ruins your brush. I don't want to do that, but it feels like sometimes the only way possible when you've got such a deep recess that you're trying to paint into. Go. And again, it doesn't have to be perfecto, just has to have a little bit of colour in there, just so people get the gist. Get the gist of what we're trying to do right now. There we are. Alrighty. So yeah, and then the last reason why I really wanted to start this retro gaming thing was it's the fun of collecting. And I know I collect loads of stuff and I know it's not good and all the rest of it, but like, what else are we on this planet for if it's not for something fun like collecting, right? So thought, sod it, let's just collect some bits and just enjoy it. So actually it's going to be a bloody good laugh, just collecting some of these old games, and you know, revisiting them, playing them again, having a laugh. It's just going to be a whole lot of fun. So why not? And talking of collecting, me and my mad ways, I finished that Pokemon Master Set the other day, didn't I? I sort of said that on the channel. So finished the Pokemon Master Set, which was pretty cool. And I sort of started the next set. So I've sort of finished the Shrouded Fable, and I'm now on to Stellar Crown, which is another set of Pokemon cards. And with that set, on Sunday, there is a Pokemon fair that's happening in a town near to me. And I'm going to go to it. So it's going to be awesome. So it's in a place called the Triangle Leisure Centre in Burgess Hill. And I'm going to go there on Sunday. to this sort of Pokemon thing. I've sort of got some cards ready for swapping, and I'm going to take them all along, and I'm going to see if I can get some good deals. So I will be doing that to try and finish a second set. So when I was looking through some of my spares, I kind of realised that I had one set that must have come, they must have given quite a few of these cards out when I was trying to get the other ones as well. And I thought, oh crikey, I'm not that far off from finishing this set as well, so why not give this set a bash? So I did, and I'm trying to finish it off. I'm not doing too bad at the moment. So yeah, so let's see, Sunday might be the day. And that just, oh bugger, that's too much black, Steve. But yeah, it's back to that collecting piece, isn't it? And that's why I sort of thought, oh, I'll do the old NES, because it's just fun. Collecting stuff is fun. The thrill of the chase, trying to find these elusive items, it's just fun. And sometimes you need that kind of escapism in your life, right? When things get a bit crappy or boring or whatever, you got something just to go back to and go, oh yeah, that's all right, because I'm opening a pack of Pokemon cards tonight, or I've got a delivery of a NES game tonight. It's brilliant. Don't worry, everything's cool. And it's that escapism, which is always nice. Paint the book on the floating lectern to look like an iPad. So the book, you say it's a book, it's actually not, right? So let's just hold this up. So see this piece of script that goes up. It actually goes into the top here and then feeds down. So I guess you would pull this part down and this part would go up into the lectern. So I actually have to write the script on here and then write the script on here as well. So yeah, although you could have it as an iPad. But I'm not going to, Adrian. That would be heresy. Pure heresy. How very dare you. But yeah. Good observation, Adrian. Good observation. I need... What do I need? What was I painting just then? Before I stopped. Oh, I was just doing some black, wasn't I? Let's do... Should we do the candles up the top here? Let's do the candles up the top so they're done. Just whack these down. Go. Flames are always a bit of a pain in the bum to paint, to get them looking really good. It is sometimes a bit of a nightmare, so there are a couple of ways you can tackle it. Speed paints is one, so speed paints actually are quite good for this. Use your speed paints and then all you do is sort of dab on or dry brush on a little bit of white. And I mean a little bit afterwards. We can do that. Or we can paint it with standard acrylic paints. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. Just trying to get a really thin layer of this Rathbone across these candles. So I don't want it looking too clean, because it'll end up looking too much like that book, and it's having these sort of different shades. That's why it's always good to have a million different shades of paint. People say, oh, why have you've already got a green, or have you already got a blue? Well, no, because I need that slightly different shade. And yes, you could mix them, right? Of course you could. However, the problem I have with mixing is that I always forget the quantities, and I can never get the same mix twice. I remember ages ago painting a Space Marine land speeder. I was doing the seats in this light sort of maroon colour. And I couldn't bloody get this. I did part of it and then I missed some. Went to go back and paint it again and I couldn't bloody get it. What's Adrian saying now? Or a Haynes manual. AdMech approved, of course. You're on a roll, Adrian. I like it. Yeah, that actually would be quite funny. I don't know if my freehand skills are good enough for painting a a Haynes manual, but you know what, I might try it just for fun. That's quite funny though. AdMech approved. Yeah. Oh dear. It's got those two candles. Just trying to make sure we've got all the colour added in here. There we go. Oh, just reminds me, we should probably stop 8 o'clock, do our muscle moment. Because we've also got our hobby horrors to come up as well a bit later. So let's just stop there for a moment. Let's take off the old goggles. Brace ourselves just for a wee moment. Change the cover. Change the camera, not the cover. Right, so what I wanted to talk about today, in today's muscle moment, wouldn't be the place where the brawn meets the brush if we didn't talk about fitness. So let's have a swig. That's water, by the way, just in case you're thinking otherwise. What I wanted to say was traditional training versus newer methods. All right, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I sort of tried quite a few things in terms of weightlifting recently and trying to find the right thing. And by right thing, I mean not just, by my body to have the most growth effect. So I've tried lots of different things, and I've sort of spoken to a lot of different people in the gym, said, how do you do this? Or how would you do that movement? Or, what's the best way to do this? And I've tried a few different things. And you know what? I've gone back to a method that I used ages ago, and it just seems to work for me. So we'll cover that in a sec. So what sort of traditional methods have you got? There's a couple. So if we go back, like when I first started, there was your traditional, I'd say what your traditional muscle workouts, bodybuilder type or body growth type exercises were back and bis, chest and tries, leg day, and they were classified like that. Or some people just say chest, back, legs, and isolate like that. So you'd have those type of ones. Whereas the kind of more, I feel the more modern feel, or the advice I got recently was push and pull. So a push day versus a pull day. By that, it's like push exercise would be bench press. A pull exercise would be bicep curl, for example. So you have push and pull days. So then you've got, you'd have sort of old school compound lift focus, so the 5 and 5 strength training. But then you've got, like, now you have a more calisthenics. I can never say it. Calisthenics. Is that right? Calisthenics, which is pull-ups. This is bodyweight exercises, right? So you have so I'm going a bit red from embarrassment there, so I can't get my words out. So you had that sort of traditional compound lifts like deadlift, squats, all of that sort of stuff, versus now bodyweight exercises where you're now having this sort of more modern approach with pull-ups and dips and all that sort of stuff, and that kind of oh gosh, what's it called? The gyms where you go, oh god, you can tell that I don't write all of my script. It's a gym you go to and you do exercises. God, what's it bloody called? CrossFit. That's it. CrossFit. That's the gym. So you have like CrossFit type exercise, which I'd say are more like bodyweight calisthenics, whatever it says. So you have that kind of style. However, you have all these sort of different methods, right? And a few years ago, I tried isolation. So isolation training sessions. So I would isolate a single muscle group. So I would isolate biceps only, and I would work that for my entire session. Triceps only for my entire session. And I would isolate every muscle group and I would work only that muscle group for the whole duration, apart from legs. And there's slight method in the madness there. With legs, if I added those in as well, it would take longer to get back round to the other smaller muscle groups, like chest or legs, chest or bicep or triceps or whatever it is. So I just kept legs as legs, but then I just do 60 minutes on biceps only. And someone said to me once, "Oh, that's why you're not getting any growth, because you're just isolating that one muscle group." So I tried some other things, and then I went back to just doing biceps, triceps, chest, and it seems to just work for me. So I guess the moral of the story here from our muscle moment is try everything and go back to what works for you, because everybody will be different. I'm saying I only do biceps or I only do triceps. That might not work for everybody, but if it works for you, it works for you, right? So give that a try. What else I want to cover? There's some other sort of things as well. Let's see. You've got, in newer methods versus older methods, you've got things like more machine exercises versus free weight exercises. I personally prefer generally the free weight exercises, because with free weights you find that you have more muscle stabilization. Let's say you're on a incline bench and you're doing incline press, right? And if you've got two dumbbells, it's far better to have two dumbbells and for both shoulder muscles and back, both sides of your back, to be working to push up, right, than it is to be sat on a machine and it's just one bar pushing forward. So I quite like free weights like that. You also have more versatility in the weight selection as well, so I quite enjoy that. But there's your option. You get things like, what else I put here? Cluster sets versus drop sets, progressive overload, functional, yeah, we won't cover those. Don't worry about those. This is getting too technical. But again, what is better? Like I said earlier, what is better is what works for you. What works for you is just however your body responds best. Try them all, so you know what they feel like, and then go back to what worked. Okay? So that was my muscle moment. It's just a 2-second brief on fitness. It didn't take very long today. So let's go back to our painting. Here we go. Let's bring our lady back in. Let's get the goggles back on. How are we all doing in chat? Are we all okay? What are you guys doing for the weekend, by the way? Are you doing anything for your weekend? I've already said that I'm going to this Pokemon show on Sunday to try and find some Pokemon. Let's just clean that so I can actually see through it. What are you guys doing this weekend? Are you doing anything? Come on, tell me. What you doing? Oh, dropping stuff everywhere. Yikes, don't do that. That one. What are you doing this weekend? I can see you all in the chat. I can see you there. Don't hide away. Say hello. Tell me what you're doing for the weekend. Here we go. So back onto our Dialogus. Let's see if we can get a little bit more colour into her. Let's start with this little lovely shiny little Inquisition relic that she's wearing around her neck. There we go. And let's do this side. Sometimes when you wear these goggles, you do really lose your sort of way, and it gets a bit confusing sometimes when you're trying to paint something and you kind of lose perspective. It can be quite difficult. First world problems, eh? Right, let's just paint around that skull. Let's just paint the bottom. Oh, I need that one. There we go. Put that in there. So what are you guys doing? Adrian says he's shopping. What are you shopping for, Adrian? Are you buying a new model? There you go. What are you doing? What are you shopping for, Adrian? Tell me. JPC, I don't want to leave the house. I just want to sleep. JPC, has it been one of them weeks, has it? It's been a tough week. Hopefully it's not too bad. For the rest of you sneaky people in the watching the stream but not commenting, that's okay. We don't persecute here at Minis and Muscles. But however, if you would like to join in the conversation, please do. We would love to have you participate. And we don't just have conversation flowing during the show. We have a Discord channel as well. So if you go to the link at the top of the page of the YouTube page, you will find a link tree there, and that will take you across to the Discord. Join in on the Discord server. Come and say hello. So let's take it back to that retro gaming then. As I was saying, I have got this Nintendo Entertainment System on the way. So if you could have any gaming system, what gaming system would it be and why? I've told you about my NES, and I've told you why, because it's something I played as a kid and I loved the games. And there's stuff that I just want to revisit because I never got a chance to finish it. What about you? What games did you, or what gaming console would you have if you could have any one? In the chat, we've got Adrian saying, go outdoors to get some new trousers. So that's what Adrian's going shopping for, to get some new trousers. And JPC is saying that his week was a long and tiring one. So he just wants to rest up, which is 110% fair. Weeks can be heavy, right? And work can get a lot. It can get pretty stressful. So whenever you get the opportunity to take time for yourself, please do. It's very important. Because burnout can happen. Well, when I say burnout, I mean more, not necessarily that work is so difficult that it stops you from doing anything, but you do get fatigued. So make sure you rest up. Right, so that's her little thingy there. What's her... Oh, that's actually white. All of that around her face is actually white. There's a lot of white on this model, is what I'm noticing. Yeah, so this weekend I'm playing Warhammer tomorrow evening. I'm playing Warhammer with a buddy of mine. And he's just finished painting his Tyrannid army. So he will be bringing that along, and I will be taking the sisters, of course, and trying to overcome the dirty Xenos swarm. I don't know whether it will happen or not, but we'll try. We'll certainly give it a good go. I think he's got a lot of massive monsters, so going to be quite difficult for the girls to win this one. What I found since I've started playing Sisters of Battle is, as much as I love them, and I do dearly, but they lack a lot of firepower to really get rid of some of the big tougher enemies that are out there. That is one frustration. And some of the items that we do have that can do some damage are really expensive. So like the Exorcist tank is like 230 points. Morven Val, who is a huge, big punchy war boss, she is, again, 200 odd point. No, 170 point. Not too bad. But she needs to then work with a group that are 220 points. So it's quite an expensive setup to get anything punchy in the sisters. So yeah, so I will be running them though, and hopefully we shall have some success. And that's Saturday night, so that's my Saturday night. As I said, Sunday morning I'm off to that Pokemon trading day to try and find some cards that I need for the latest set that I want to complete. Oh, that's not too bad actually. You still see that? Yeah, you can still see that. That's good. Oh, got a little fly coming in here. Get out, fly. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, no. Where's he gone? Son of a... It's very annoying, isn't it, when you get a fly? Ah, squidged him. There we go. Got him. Don't worry. It's gone. We killed him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. So what's going on in the chat? No, nothing else extra in the chat. Okay, so let's go back to, what was I saying earlier? Oh, we'll actually probably pick up on our hobby horror moment shortly, which is our new section to Minis-N-Muscles. So we haven't had a hobby horror before, but what we're going to cover is either your hobbies or my hobbies where things have gone terribly wrong. And it's meant, you know, we've had to fix things, or things have gone so bad you can't fix it. So we're going to cover that shortly. Again, only like a 10-minute segment, a bit like the muscle moment really, just to sort of break things up. Maybe we'll do that towards the end of the show. So that's not a problem. But yeah, what else? There's something I was going to talk about. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about retro gaming. So retro gaming is super cool, right? I really enjoy it. I think it's a very cool thing. However, how bloody expensive is it? Has any of you recently had a look to see how much retro games are, as in the originals? Oh my god, I almost had a heart attack. So I went down to a shop on the south coast called it's Retro Ronnie's. I went down there with my cousins and we sort of had a look around for these sort of nostalgia pieces, and crikey, some of the games, woo, so expensive, like seriously expensive money. Could not believe it. You know, these games that were selling for 60, 80 pound or whatever it is. I'm thinking, wow, if only I kept hold of all my stuff from the 80s, 90s, it would be worth a fortune. But yeah, it's really expensive. So I'm like trying now to find boot fairs and things like that just to be able to find something cheap. Adrian's saying, did I go to Brighton Comic Con? No, I didn't in the end, because I ended up... what did I do? What did I do? Oh, I was going to, and then I found out it wasn't quite a Comic Con. It was actually more of a cosplay kind of event. So I gave it a miss. So no is the answer. I unfortunately I did not go. And also it was quite expensive to get in for one day. I was like, bloody hell. So I didn't go to that one in the end. Otherwise I'd have had a little report. JPC thinks it's time for a nap. Oh, does that mean you're crashing out, dude? Well, thank you for joining us, JPC. Thank you for your contributions to the chat. It's been a pleasure, as always, having you on board, despite my cold. Adrian's saying, yes, but you can find sites that where you can play Spectrum games on PC. I'm lost there, mate. Sorry, I've lost what you're talking about. It might just be me, but I've lost what you're talking about. But Spectrum games on PC sounds pretty cool. Let's just get a little bit of red, really thin layer of red across here, because it was quite thin and we could see, or I could see the black underneath, so I just want to get rid of that black underneath from poking through. Just with a very, very thin, very watered down red. You can see how easy it just applies this one. This is very smooth. Because I've got like a two-tone red going on here. I've got Mephiston red and I've got corn red. Just to give this sort of cloak a little bit more difference in colour, I guess. So I didn't want it all just one colour and being boring and basic. I kind of wanted it to be a little bit different. So getting some colour in there. Bob, 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 bob. There we are. Da-da-da. There we go. Alrighty. So that's good for that. You find when I'm painting as well, I go from this bit to that bit, over to there, over to here, and I just sort of dot around everywhere. It sometimes can be quite frustrating that I do that. I find it frustrating myself that I do it, but it also stops me from getting bored when I'm painting, because otherwise I find if I stay on one place I get very, very bored very quickly. So anyway, let's do some wood on the pulpit. Pardon me. A little burp just popped out there. How vulgar. Yeah, so we're talking about retro gaming and all the games that I'm eagerly awaiting for my Nintendo when it arrives. I actually got a new controller. So the controller is in the shape of a Nintendo controller, but it's wireless. Wireless on an original Nintendo, and apparently it works. So very excited to use that, because obviously they were all cables back in the day. And I remember my sister, when we got it, was, I think I must have only owned this Super Nintendo for days, right? And my sister and I were playing Mario Kart, and she every time she steered, my sister felt this need to sort of, as she's steering, to go like this, going left, going right. And she did it once, and she did it so bad, she pulled the whole cable out the SNES and pulled it off of the sort of TV stand it was on. And I was rather upset with her. She almost broke my Super Nintendo. I was not a happy boy. But still, it was very funny anyway. I can look back at it and laugh, but with this new controller, my sister won't have these problems. It is Bluetooth, and it works apparently, and I'm very excited to try that. So I have that already. That has arrived before the actual console, which is hilarious. But that's fine. It should be good. So I'm quite interested to merge these new technologies with old. So I was talking earlier about that upscaler. So there's an upscaler that takes the feed of the retro console. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a Sega, it could be a Nintendo, whatever. And it doubles the resolution, so takes it from 240 240p I think it is to 480i, which is like the minimum you need to have to run on a modern flat screen telly. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing if that works and see how well it works, because otherwise I'm going to have to get an old CRT telly. So you remember the old tellies before the flat screens, that, you know, big back tellies that took a while to warm up type thing. Is it cathode tube telly? I think it's called something like that. So I might have to get one of those. If not, I mean, that's not a problem, but again, a bit like the retro games, are very expensive to buy these old tellies. I looked at old tellies and they were hundreds of pounds. Couldn't believe it. I even texted my mum and said, "Mum, has Nan got an old telly?" And she's like, "No, she got rid of all that stuff ages ago." I'm like, "No!" I was hoping my Nan might have one that I could have bought off of her, you know. But unfortunately she didn't, or she doesn't have anyone available. I'm still in camera. Oh, not quite. Sorry guys. Just gone out slightly of the frame. One thing I wish it did do when I was streaming, I wish it would bing when someone messages in the chat. So when you message in the chat, I don't always see it. Well, JPC is saying, "Well, thank you, have a good night," or "try to have a good night," or said, "I will try, have a good night, good man, take it easy." Adrian's saying, "So you don't have to buy the old game and fire up an old computer and have 5-minute load." Oh, got you. Yeah, but I don't mind the old computer, man. I do have a Raspberry Pi and that loads really quick, but it's just not the same, Adrian. It's just not the same. Like people playing Wii Tennis and whacking people behind them. Yes! That, oh man, I would hate to see my sister playing Wii Tennis. She'd probably do exactly that. Have you seen all these videos as well of people playing VR games? So they're playing these VR games and they do exactly that. So they like run into walls and stuff. That is hilarious. And talking of similar, I wanted to do this new segment, which is hobby horrors, which is similar to, you know, playing a VR headset game and running into a wall, I guess. So hobby horrors is all about doing whatever it is that we do as geeks, whether that is collecting, whether that is playing computer games, whether that is painting, and talking about the problems we've experienced whilst doing this. So I wanted to share this week with you in our very first hobby horror, my experience, one experience anyway, in painting. So as you can see here, quite often I have all my paint set. If I bring them into camera, you'll see lots of different paints here and all the lids are on and all the rest of it, see? But it's not always like that. So there are some paints, and if I just zoom out, wrong way, zoom out slightly, there are some paints like these. So these are inky type paints, which are contrasts or shades, and you can't put them in a wet palette, so I can't take them out of here and drop it in. Oh, Honey Ann saying late to the party today, but hello, Honey Ann, how are you? So these paints you can't just drop into a wet palette, right? You have to keep them in the pot. So what I tend to do is I open them up, I open the lid, and I just take from the top of the lid up here. But I have a habit of knocking them over, and I have spilt so many of these, it's unreal. And one of my latest failures, my hobby horror, was I had a pot of Nuln oil, So Nuln Oil is like a black contrast paint, so it looks like black ink basically. And I had that out and I was painting away, and then all of a sudden I spilt the entire pot. This pot was brand new. A brand new pot. As in this size pot, brand new, full across my entire hobby desk. And not just the hobby desk, it went on the floor. I stained the carpet. I wrecked loads of stuff up here. I got it all on models. I absolutely had a nightmare. So that was my hobby horror only not a few weeks back now. So not only did I have to buy a new pot of Nuln oil, I had to clean everything. And still to this day, in the man cave, I have a piece of carpet that is stained for life. Well, that is until I get a carpet cleaner to come around and clean the carpet. Yeah, so that was my hobby horror the other day. My second hobby horror that I wanted to talk to you about is not quite a horror in the sense of what we were talking about there, where things go drastically wrong, right? It was actually collecting Pokemon. So, what I mean by that, collecting Pokemon is a bit of a gamble, right? So you buy a pack of cards and you get random cards that are in it. And it gets to a point where you think, I should start buying separate cards from someone on the internet, like on an eBay account or whatever, that's selling the separate cards that I need, rather than buying multiple packets. So that's a good way to do it. Good way to save money, and you get the cards you want. However, my hobby horror, and it keeps happening to me, is I get to a point where I'm collecting these Pokemon. I'm like, right, okay, it's about time where I need to start buying individuals, because I can't seem to find the right ones. I can't get the ones I need. So I like buy one or two off of Vinted or eBay, right? I buy these one or two models off Vinted and eBay, and then my hobby horror strikes. Every darn time I go back to buying a packet, and I get the ones I've just bought in the packet. Oh, this happens so often. It even happened with a really rare card that is, worth about 50, 60 quid just on its own. I bought it, and then I got it in a packet. I could not believe it. It was a Victor Meldrew moment for those UK audience people watching. I don't believe it, and I couldn't believe it because I just bought this very expensive card, and then it turns up in a packet, literally not long after. So, and it keeps happening to me. It's happened multiple times, where this process, I go through this thing and I think, all right, okay. I'm not getting much success on a packet. I'll buy some singles. Great. I buy some singles. That goes well. Get the ones I need. I think, I'll just buy another packet. Why not? Buy the packet. What happens? Boom. Every time I get the one I just bought. It's absolutely infuriating. I think the Pokemon gods have got it in for me. And they just don't want me collecting. They don't want me catching them all. Which is just unfair, because you've got to catch them all, right? If you're a serious Pokemon collector, you've got to catch them all. Can't not catch them all. Just putting a little bit of silver detail onto the backpack. There's a couple of little bits on here that just require a little bit of attention. There we go. Just do that as well. I have gone over the edge a little bit, but I can tidy that up. Hobby horror equals unpacking. So this is Adrian's hobby horror. Thank you, Adrian, for dropping a comment in. unpacking a Tau drone that I'd used many times and finding that the paint had come off. The resin model had been assembled, undercoated, painted and varnished. And the bloody stuff came off. Are you kidding me? Oh, I know. You did not... Did you wash the model properly before you painted it? Because resin models have a tendency of doing that. If you don't wash it properly afterwards, before you paint it, all the paint strips off. Ah, there you go. I later worked out that I hadn't washed the resin in soapy water before assembly. Yes. Ah. Adrian, I feel your pain. I've done that, brother. I've done it. Oh, it's a nightmare. But yeah, for those that don't know, that haven't experienced a resin model as of yet, do be cautious, because you will find yourself in similar hot water like Adrian and I were, where, you know, if you don't wash the model when you get it, it all falls apart. All the paint falls apart, and the glue can come apart as well. So where you glue bits of the model together, it can actually come apart as well. Now, resin models are awesome, but that is the kind of trade-off that you've got. So just be careful if you've got any resin models. Just painting these infuriating little divots, and all Sisters of Battle bloody have them. And they have them everywhere as well, and it's a pain in the backside. Sisters, stop putting these little metal studs on everything. It's like the kinky side of the Sisters of Battle. Everything has to be studded. So I'm going to have to go back and tidy some of these up, because I've done them really badly. That's okay. Oh dear. Well, yeah, that's my hobby horror for this week anyway, is the tale of the Nuln Oil and the luck of the Pokemon. Yeah, so do be careful with that treacherous wash called Nuln Oil. Oh, it's a bugger. And if you're collecting Pokemon and you're trying to catch them all and being a serious Pokemon collector, then just be wary. Be wary of the Pokemon gods and how they treat you. Hopefully those Pokemon gods treat you better than they treated me. Little buggers, I tell you. So, Honey Ann, how was your week? You're jumping on late this week, which is absolutely fine, by the way. You can join in any time. You can watch these videos on catch-up. However, how are you? How's your week been? Are you okay? You keeping all right? We've got another person online as well, by the looks of it. A couple of others. How are you? I hope you're all well. We're coming to the end of the show. Last 10 minutes or so. We've been painting our Dialogus today. Which is one of the Sisters of Battle models that we've got, or I've got, should we say. And it's just trying to get her to a standard where she can sit on the tabletop and look half decent, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. But it's just nice to have a little colour in the model. There we go. Alright, alright, alright. Getting some of this, where we had to go into this sort of deep recess to do the brown. Just trying to get, or put back some of this bronze colour. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. What you don't want to do is just push a bit too far, and then you end up having to Put the brown back over the bronze, you know. Hopefully this will be alright. It should be good. Well, hopefully we'll hear some more hobby horrors. What are you saying? Where's the Phantom Heart Giver? Who's the Phantom Heart Giver, Adrian? You have to excuse my stupidness. On a Friday, I'm normally quite tired. Oh, the Phantom Heart Giver, you're right. The person that keeps spamming the channel with hearts and thumbs up and all of that. No, they've not been on tonight. Who is the Phantom Heart Giver? I still don't know, Adrian. I still don't know who the Phantom Heart Giver is. So maybe we'll find out one day who they are. Hopefully we will. And I can say thank you. Thank you, Phantom Heart Giver. Yeah, but I've not seen them on tonight. I've not seen a load of... So basically, for those that don't know, when we've got the channel going sometimes, someone appears on the channel. I don't know who they are. And all they do is they spam the like thumbs up, the like button, the heart button, all the laughing emojis, smiley emojis, and they absolutely spam it. And they've come back a couple of times and done the same. I mean, I'm loving it because someone's saying, you know, it's almost like someone pressing the appreciation button, which is great for my self-esteem. But I don't know who they are. Because like quite often we get new people drop in, and we had the guy earlier, Mr. Mower, drop in. So we have new people drop in quite often. But I don't always know who they are, what they're doing. So with the Phantom Heart Giver, I have not seen them tonight, Adrian. They've been quiet. If they are here, that is. Because they might not actually be here at all. They might not be online tonight. They might be out. Who's to say? You shouldn't be out on a Friday night at 7 PM BST, because that's where you should be with me here on Minis and Muscles. Because it's the only place you need to be on a Friday. It's the best place to be, right? Like, why do you want to go out drinking or doing any of that crazy stuff? Get your geek on. Get your geek on, pull up a cuppa, sit down, chill out after a long, stressful week of work or school or whatever it is you're doing, and just geek it out. That's the best thing to do. Well, I think so anyway. What do you think? Do you think that's the best thing to do? Thumbs up if you do. The best thing to do is tune in on a Friday to Minis and Muscles. The only place you need to be on a Friday. That's that one. Just got to tidy up some of the bits that we were painting earlier with a bit of black. Just where we've gone over or just not been as careful as what I should have been. And sometimes we make little mistakes, right? That's okay. Because we can tidy them up. Right, okay, I think we've got all those bits. There we are. Yeah, we haven't got the Heart Giver on tonight, have we? Where are you, Heart Giver? Who are you, Heart Giver? Yeah. Sorry for my cold this evening. Apologies for my more nasally than usual voice. Trust me, I am as frustrated as you are listening to me. Go. Just going to add a little bit of white just to get some of the candles that are on the front of the lectern here There's a couple of candles that we need just to add. Make sure we've got these. There we go. So it's not been a bad little paint, this one, actually. Like, quite often I find with Warhammer models there's a lot of detail on them, right, because they're very well printed. And I said before, if you know, painting D&D models versus Warhammer models, D&D models can be painted really quick. This one actually is not too bad, and it's come along fairly quick. It's pretty easy to well, it's pretty easy to build, and it's pretty easy to paint. There's not too much on it, nothing too technical anyway. With my kind of style of paint, which is this sort of fresh, clean look, it's pretty easy. It's not stressful. And for those sort of getting into painting, I would advise you kind of, you know, I would suggest that you try this kind of easier, cleaner paint look rather than the sort of other methods around there. Although there are some other methods of painting. Some people like this sort of grimdark style, which is a sort of muddier, dirtier style, which is just as good. I personally just don't like the overall look, so I don't really do much of that one. Oh, Optimus D's on. Anyone know if the cafe pre-orders this weekend? Oh, I don't know actually, mate, but I do know that the latest Sister to Battle Kill Team, which also comes with some Chaos, some World Eater models. I know that is out for delivery this weekend. But possibly the cafe as well, because I think they came out at the same time. Actually, no, I think the cafe came out after. So there might be a little wait. But it can't be long, mate. It can't be long. Are you going to order some, Optimus? Is that your next purchase? Because Optimus is very much into Old World Warhammer. So there's kind of 3 worlds right now in the Warhammer saga. There's 40,000, which is, you know, 41st millennium, set in the future, spaceships, guns, etc., aliens. There is Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which is magic and might, so it's still sort of swords and things like that, but there's no guns. There are crossbows, but it's very magic based, and you know, these are sort of middle age, I guess. And then you've got the old world, which is before that, when you've got very little magic ability, and it's more about swords, crossbows, lances, you know, and a good old dust up. So those are the kind of 3 sagas, which I'll call them, that are in Warhammer at the moment. I'm surprised they brought Old World back, actually, because Old World was originally out many moons ago. That was what was first out when I played Warhammer first off. It was Warhammer 40,000 and Old Age. Old Age was out before 40,000, so I think. Am I right in saying that? I think. But anyway, they were the original 2. Very, very good. Oh, I've painted the candles the wrong colour. Oh, bugger. Oh, well. Never mind. But yeah, Optimus saying only the characters Sky Lantern and Sentinel. Got other ideas for the units. Ah, okay. So, but you have got some though. That's cool. And you're waiting much like me on the delivery. So, if they got released the same time as the Blood and Zeal Kill Team box set, then I think you might get them this weekend if you pre-ordered them. Mine comes this weekend. Comes tomorrow. Oh, it's not looking bad, this. Not looking too bad. We'll just put some brown onto this little control panel here. Just to keep up that wood appearance, and then we'll paint the buttons like a cool colour. There we go. That's that. Over that side we have got some buttons, so we can paint those. So we've got a red here. Let's use a bit of red for a button. There we go. 2 tiny little red buttons. Got them done. Woo! Now I need some silver, for there's a couple of little turny knobs on the right hand side there, right on the back. I don't know if you can see, but right down here. There's 2 little sort of knob style handles, which I'm going to paint silver. So let's get some silver onto those. There we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Sometimes, just to get the lighting right, it's really difficult when you're streaming as well. I don't think my setup's particularly good. I think I need to change my setup. But to be fair, I'll probably only change my setup when, you know, we get another 1,000 followers or something. Then I'll go, oh, okay, maybe it's time to change the setup and go for something professional. But I really want to change a light up there, just so it's brighter and it really blares down. There we go. 1 button. Let's have a blue. Let's have a green. So I'm just going for a couple of different random bright colours. I always choose the bright colours for buttons on stuff and on these Warhammer models. Just get a blob onto the end of your paintbrush. And just very gently apply that blob. There you go, there's a green square. Let's have a blue square on there as well. Go, here we go, here we go. The blue's not as noticeable. Yes it is, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. There we are. Not as bright as what I could have done. I have got some other blues that are a bit better, but that's alright. That will do. Alrighty, especially when your head gets in the way. Yeah, I know, because I'm trying to lean over to get the right lighting, and then I do this and my old head goes in the way. Sorry, Adrian. I know, but look, there you go. Oh, hang about. Just bring it back into view. Right, where... I've moved the bloody thing now, haven't I? There you go. Don't know if you can see those buttons there. Let's just try and move her across. There you go. There you go. So you can see the buttons that are painted. So that looks pretty good now. There's a fair amount of detail on her. There's a few more bits to finish, like her necklace, the skull on the front there. But, oh, the little eye, the Inquisitor eye on the top of the skull. The flames on all the candles need doing. The cables on the back here. I haven't done the cables on the back. They need doing. And then there's a few little ancillary things on around her belt. And a couple of little details on the backpack. But mostly done. So we do have, if we zoom out just slightly, we do have our Hospitaller, who's pretty much done. I'd say she's sort of 98% done. And then you've got our Dialogus, again 98% done. Yes, I know the pages need doing. I need to do those. I will on both of those models, actually, to be fair. We've got some pages to do, so we'll get that sorted. But that will be for another time, or perhaps I'll do that in some downtime, because I usually paint my Sisters of Battle in the background anyway, because they're my favourite army. But it is 1 minute to 9. What's Adrian saying in the chat? Are they buttons or are they supposed to be candles with flames? No, so if we go back to this one, this lady here. So let's get this white one. Right, so here, these are the candles at the top, and then just below it here are buttons. And there's some buttons this side. There's a little switch, a silver switch down here, but these at the top, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 up here, they're the candles. They need doing. So that's the difference between the two. But we have got to the end of our Minis and Muscles show for a Friday night. It's been awesome. I did show at the start our finished diorama from last week. So that's all cool. That's all done and dusted. I'm glad to finish that one. It looked very good in the end. We have started and pretty much finished our two Sisters of Battle. Next week, though, we are going to start a new model. So I'm going to possibly, I'm not sure, but I might do this one. We'll see. But there's some things on that I want to try with an air gun. So that might not be quite right for the stream. Because when you've got an air gun going, it's loud. So I might not do that. So you have to do candle flames. Yes, I have to do the candle flames. Yes. Optimus saying, have you painted your Triumph of St. Catherine? I thought of using the model for a Sigmar-themed Empire army. No, I haven't. I haven't even assembled the Triumph of St. Catherine because I bought it with the intention to put it in my army, and then bloody Games Workshop changed the rules and put the points up on it and changed the rules of it. So it became almost like unless it's a 2,000 point army, it's almost impossible to fit in. It's impossible to fit into 1,000 points, and almost impossible, I think, to fit into 2,000 points now because of the cost of it and because of some of the nerfs they've made. It used to be like an auto take. Now it's like, ooh, will I take it? Yes, no, maybe. So I could do the Triumph of St. Catherine. That's a lovely diorama. It's a model, but it's got lots of different figures in, lots going on. So maybe I'll do that. That might be a good one to do. I have got a load of Space Marines over here that I need to finish. So we could do these boys. So they're all sort of assembled and sprayed, but not finished. So I could do those on the stream. These ones are done. So I've got these guys. These are pretty much done though. There's a couple of Eldar to go. So there's lots to do anyway. There's loads of choices. Don't you worry. So next week I'll grab a load out and we will make a choice together. Definitely do the air gun on stream. Oh, but it's very loud. That's the thing. Very loud. So I might do a couple of test runs maybe. Maybe I'll do some test runs in the background. See what it's like. I'll record it and play it to myself. And then see if it works. So we'll see. We'll see on that one. I'm not promising an air gun. But I am promising a new model next week, and I will get a load out. We will choose it all together, and then we will crack on with that drawing, and we'll have more geek talk. And I'll update you on my Pokemon event on Sunday, and I will where I'm going to see if I can get some and trade some cards, because it's all about trading cards. I don't think it's playing. I hope it's not playing. I've never played the game in my life. I just like playing the card or collecting the cards. And I've also got my Warhammer game on Saturday night, so I'll update you on that. Anyway, I appreciate every single one of you for dropping in and saying hello. It's always good to have you on board. Please do make sure you like the video when it's posted. Make sure you are subscribed if you're not. Share it with everyone else you can. Let's get our followers up. And let's keep this little wonderful community that we've got going. Remember to join the Discord. You can find the link to the Discord in the description of the YouTube page, you will find the Linktree link. And you can go to Discord there and you can drop in things like your retro games, your consoles that you've got. You can drop in models into the minis section. You can like talk amongst everyone else and I'll be on there as well. So hopefully you joined that. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. It's been Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Geek it up and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you for joining me here on Minis and Muscles, the only place where the brawn meets the brush. I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you so much. Big love to every single one of you. Stay safe and we will talk very, very soon. Take it easy.